Part 5 of Full Court Press, November 24th edition. Sorry, Part 4 ended kind of abruptly, but we had to take a lunch break and stuff like that. So, what Part 5, the final part, by the way, of this edition, is going to consist of is standings, a look into tonight's games, Week 5 pick'em, and a local outlook on our New Orleans Pelicans. So first, we're going to take a look at the standings. To update those out there who might not be aware, and so Yvonne can update her records here, we'll start with, as soon as I can get them up, Alright, we'll start with the Atlantic Division in the East. Right now, your leader is Toronto at 11-2. Next is Brooklyn at 5-8. Boston, 4-8. New York, 4-10.
Wow.
Philadelphia, 0-13.
They still haven't won a game.
Central Division, very tight division. Chicago, 8-5. Milwaukee, 7-7. Cleveland, 5-7. Indiana, 5-8. Detroit, 3-10.
No more wins, okay?
Southeast Division, Washington, 9-3. Miami, 8-6. Atlanta, 6-5. Orlando, 6-9. Charlotte, 4-10. To the West, we'll start with the Pacific Division. Golden State, 10-2.
Wow.
Phoenix, 9-5. Sacramento, 8-5. Los Angeles Clippers, 7-5. Los Angeles Lakers, 3-11.
Wow.
Northwest, Portland, 10-3. Denver, 6-7. They're on a 4-game win streak as Denver.
Let's see that.
Utah, 5-9. Minnesota, 3-9. Oklahoma City, 3-12. And the Southwest Division. Memphis, 12-2.
Wow.
Houston, 10-3. Dallas, 10-4. San Antonio, 9-4. New Orleans, 7-5.
Wow.
So there's your standings as of Week 5 here in the NBA.
The division with the best records is us, the Southwest.
Yep.
With the most wins.
Yep.
Wow.
As far as your conference goes, if the playoffs started today, in the East, the 1 seed Toronto would play the 8 seed Orlando. The 2 Yes, ma'am.
Detroit.
No, ma'am. Detroit's 3-10. How you figure?
I
Only
thought
8.
it was the least.
No, only 8 teams make the playoffs. Out of 12, out of 15.
I thought
17.
it was the best and the worst.
No, of the top 8, yes.
Oh,
Teams with the 8 best records.
okay.
The 2 seed Washington would play the 7 seed Cleveland. Paul Pierce versus LeBron James.
Wow.
The 3 seed Chicago would play the 6 seed Milwaukee. And the 4 seed Miami would play the 5 seed Atlanta. On the outside looking in order, Brooklyn at 9, Indiana at 10, Boston at 11, New York at 12, Charlotte at 13, Detroit at 14, Philadelphia at 15. In the West, the 1 seed Memphis would play the 8 seed Sacramento. The 2 seed Golden State versus the 7 seed Phoenix. The 3 seed Portland, the 6 seed San Antonio, and the 4 seed Houston would play the 5 seed Dallas.
Wow.
On the outside looking in order, New Orleans at 9th. New Orleans at 9th would miss the playoffs by a half game. The Clippers in 10th. 11th is Denver. 12th is Utah. 13th Minnesota. 14th Los Angeles Lakers. And 15th Oklahoma City. That's if the playoffs started today. So,
Wait a minute. The Lakers and OKC both have 3.
yeah, but OKC has more losses.
Oh.
So, with all of that being said, let's move to Week 5 Pick'em. Yvonne's coming off of her first win of the year.
We're not going to talk about the news?
Yeah, that's last.
Oh.
Oh yeah, we're going to talk about the Pelicans here in just a second. As soon as we're done with the Week Pick'em, because all the lines are up for the week. So, we'll start with tonight. Yvonne's coming off of the Week 4 win. So, 3 6 o'clock starts tonight. The first one. The Clippers visit Charlotte.
Look at the games tonight.
Yeah, they got a lot tonight.
Oh my gosh.
Just to
I hate it
update
when
you,
there's 3 and 4 games at the same time.
just to update you on their recent games, Charlotte is currently on a 5-game losing streak, and the Clippers are coming off of 2 straight wins and then getting blown out at Memphis.
But I expected that.
So, with that being said, your line is 5 to Los Angeles.
Home court advantage for Charlotte.
It's there.
Big, little. Are we
it's,
talking Golden State?
Well, no, nothing's talking Golden State, Oklahoma City, San Antonio, Dallas, but
I didn't know.
it's there. It's there. Pretty tough environment to play in.
The Clippers played last night in Memphis. From Tennessee back to Los Angeles.
That's a flight. That's a flight right there.
Yeah. From Tennessee back to Los Angeles in this weather. How many points they giving the Clippers?
5.
But Charlotte's lost the last 3 games. But they lost them on the road. Right?
Yep.
All 3.
Yep.
So now they're back home. They lost to Orlando. That was the last loss. By 5 points. That's the one we debated earlier. That's the one of the ones that I got wrong because I had picked Charlotte.
Right.
I like the way the Clippers are looking. I'm going to go with the Clippers.
I agree. I've got the Clippers.
I like the way they're looking. I know we could have more points on our side. We could have more pluses on our side, like if we were at home and all that. Is anybody out?
No.
For the Clippers?
No.
Okay, I'm going with the Clippers.
Okay. Next, we've got Orlando at Cleveland, 6 o'clock start. Your line to this game is 8.5 to Cleveland.
Why so much? I don't understand that. They've lost how many now?
They're on a 4-game losing streak.
Yeah.
Orlando found themselves against Charlotte, but then lost against Miami. Neither team played
But
last night.
8.5?
8.5. 8.5.
And neither team played last night, so they're both rested.
Right. Right.
I'm going to go with home court advantage. I'm going with Cleveland.
I agree. I got Cleveland as well.
Yeah, but it won't surprise me if Orlando wins. I'll be upset because I picked Cleveland, but the way they've been inconsistent, it won't upset me.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised. The next one's a given.
6 o'clock start. Portland at Philadelphia. Your line is 13 to Portland.
Oh my God. Yes.
Okay. The next one. 6:30 start. Phoenix at Toronto. Big game.
Poor Phoenix. I'm picking Toronto.
Your line is 4.5 to Toronto.
They're at home. They've been winning. They're a force to be reckoned with. No, Toronto.
New York at Houston.
Oh my gosh.
7 o'clock start. Your line is 6.5 to Houston.
Of course it is. And they're at home.
Yep.
I'm going with Houston. I don't know about the next one. What do they say?
Indiana at Dallas. It's a 7:30 start. Your line is 14 to Dallas.
14?
14 to Dallas.
After what happened last night?
14.
Okay. Dallas.
Okay. And lastly,
Is Derrick Rose playing?
their game time decisions. Both Gasol and Rose are game time decisions. Gibson is out.
Oh, I knew Taj would be out.
With that said, the 8 o'clock start between Chicago and Utah, your line is 3 to Chicago.
They still giving it to Chicago. Even in Utah, even with Rose and Gasol potentially out.
Correct.
Chicago did not play last night, did Utah? No. They both played 2 nights ago, so they're both rested. Well, they've proven they can do it without Derek before this season, so I guess I'm going with Chicago.
Okay. I got them too. We have no differences tonight.
We have no differences? Oh, really?
None.
We're going to try to do the whole week?
Oh yeah.
All
Tuesday
right.
night. Only 5 games, but they're pretty big. First, a divisional battle between Atlanta and Washington.
Washington.
Your line is 6.5 to Washington.
Yeah. Washington.
Golden State at Miami.
Golden State.
6:30 start. Your line is 3 to Golden State.
Yeah.
Detroit at Milwaukee. 7 o'clock start. Your line is 4.5 to Milwaukee.
What do you think?
Oh, I got Milwaukee.
Okay. Go ahead.
Sacramento at New Orleans.
Oh my God.
7 o'clock start. Your line is 5.5.
It doesn't matter what the line says. I'm going with New Orleans.
Your line is 5.5 to New Orleans.
All right. Good.
And Chicago at Denver.
Oh, after what I saw last night,
Your line is 4.5.
all these lines are as of last night's games.
They're as of 28 minutes ago.
Okay.
4.5 is the line to Denver.
I don't see Chicago winning that unless Derek and Gasol come back.
Oh, I got Denver. Chicago's on a back-to-back.
Let me ask you a question. If Derrick Rose and Gasol comes back,
I
you
changed
gonna
my
change
pick.
it?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Me too. But we have no differences there either.
Nope. Wednesday night. 13 games on Wednesday night.
Wow.
This is the make or break night.
13?
13 games on Wednesday night.
That's when I'm gonna be doing most of the cooking.
Oh, no!
Oh. Go ahead.
Portland at Charlotte.
Portland.
Okay. Washington.
No, what does it say?
7 to Portland. Washington at Cleveland.
Washington.
Your line is 5 to Washington.
You've done all your picks already?
No, not all of them.
Oh.
I got Cleveland in that game.
You got Cleveland?
Cleveland's going to beat Orlando tonight. They're going to bounce back.
No. Against Washington?
They're going to bounce back.
No. Okay, that's one difference.
Golden State at Orlando.
Golden State.
Your line is 5 to Golden State.
Mm-hmm.
Brooklyn at Philadelphia.
Oh my God, Brooklyn.
Your line is 6 to Brooklyn.
If they don't beat, if Brooklyn doesn't win this one,
I got Philadelphia.
why?
Philadelphia wins their first game of the season. Right here.
Why? Just because you want them to that badly?
No. Brooklyn is so bad. Brooklyn is so bad. They're losing.
And Philadelphia's not? They haven't won a game yet.
Philadelphia is very, very, very young and very immature.
Okay.
A team with Darren Williams, Joe Johnson, Kevin Garnett, Brooke Lopez, Jarrett Jack, all healthy, should not be 5-8. That's pitiful. That is pitiful. They suck. Philadelphia gets their first win of the season right here. You watch.
You basing all that on Michael Carter Williams?
I am not. I'm basing that on the fact that I don't think Kevin Garnett is going to be able to hold those two rookie big men inside. They're going to wear him out.
Okay.
They're going to wear Brooklyn out.
We'll see. That's one difference.
New York at Dallas.
Oh my God.
Your line is 10 to Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
That's on ESPN.
Okay.
Toronto at Atlanta.
Toronto.
Your line is 4 to Toronto. Los Angeles Clippers at Detroit.
I have no idea.
Your line is 7 to Los Angeles.
Really? 7?
7.
I was going to pick Los Angeles anyway, because I'm a Clippers fan, but 7?
7.
Now this one I have no idea.
Sacramento at Houston.
In Houston, Dwight's probably going to play.
Sacramento at Houston. Your line is 8.5 to Houston.
Okay.
Turn the page. We got 5-6 more games.
My gosh.
Milwaukee at Minnesota.
Oh, this is going to be interesting. I'm sure they've got Milwaukee as the pick.
Your line is 2.5 to Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm. That tell you how bad they think Minnesota is?
No, Milwaukee's 7-7. That doesn't tell me anything about Minnesota.
Okay.
But I've got Milwaukee.
Me too.
Utah at Oklahoma City. Your line is 3.5 to Utah.
In Oklahoma City?
3.5 to Utah.
I think OKC can do this. I mean, they almost won.
At home against Golden State.
Uh-huh. And Golden State far surpasses Utah. So if they can hold their own, I'm going with an upset. That's my upset.
I have them too.
Oh, really? Well, then we don't have a difference. We may both lose that one. I've got OKC.
Indiana at San Antonio. Your line is 9.5 to San Antonio.
Of course it is.
Denver at Phoenix. Big division game here.
Ooh.
Your line is 4
To Denver.
Phoenix.
Phoenix. Home court advantage?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I got Phoenix. I got
All day.
Oh, yeah.
Even after what you saw. Okay, but I reserve the right to change my mind after I see what they do against Chicago
Okay.
Tuesday night.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and put Phoenix. But if Denver mops the floor with Chicago, I'm changing my mind.
Memphis at LA Lakers. Your line is 11
Memphis.
to Memphis.
Yeah. As much as I want the Lakers to win, I'm going with Memphis.
Yeah. All right. Thursday, no games.
No games on
On Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. They played games last year on Thanksgiving Day.
A couple.
And they played some on Christmas.
Oh, they have 5 games on Christmas.
Yeah.
All on ABC and ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
So, Friday night, the 28th,
Oh, shoot.
at 12 o'clock.
Now, see, it's really hard for me to pick for the end of the week because I don't know what they're... Like, I want to see what Chicago's going to do. And if... Go ahead.
Chicago at Boston. Play a little game. Guesstimate the line to that game.
Well, I know they picked Chicago.
By how much?
Against Boston. 5, 6,
3.5.
3.5. I was close.
You got Chicago?
Yeah.
I got Boston right now.
Okay.
If Rose plays, I'm changing it.
Okay. And that's why I've got Chicago circled because I'm thinking
they're
he's
going to be
gonna
back
play.
by then. But New
Okay.
Orleans at Atlanta.
No, you forgot Golden State and Charlotte.
Oh, Golden State at Charlotte.
Golden State.
What's the line to that game?
Why are you doing that to me?
I don't know. I just want to see. I want to see how close you can get.
9, 11?
11.5.
Uh-huh.
New Orleans at Atlanta. I want to see what you think the line is here.
In Atlanta, we're not going far. I've got New Orleans. Because
I'm picking them too.
I've got New Orleans 3.
To who?
New Orleans.
Your line is even.
Ooh, that's painful.
New Orleans is 7-5 right now. Atlanta 6-5. I got New Orleans, so
Okay.
Milwaukee at Detroit. Your line is 4.5 to Milwaukee.
Well, I was going to pick Milwaukee anyway.
Dallas at Toronto.
Toronto.
Your line is 2.5
2.5?
to Toronto.
I don't understand that.
LA Clippers at Houston.
I know they've got Houston winning, but I really want the Clippers to win.
The line is Houston by 6.
Knicks and
What you got?
OKC. I've got Houston. Knicks at OKC.
I got the Clippers in that game.
Oh. Okay. Knicks at OKC.
New York at Oklahoma City. Your line is even.
Who's out for New York? Nobody?
Nobody.
And we still have no Durant and no Westbrook.
Bless you.
Excuse me. You got that Oklahoma City crowd.
Yeah.
Even?
Yes.
I'm going with the Knicks.
I have the Knicks as well.
Oh, okay.
Orlando at Indiana. Your line is 3.5 to Orlando.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
In Indiana.
Yep.
Man, I just can't get last year's Indiana team out of my mind. I'm going to go with the stats and say Orlando.
I've got Indiana.
Do you?
Yep.
The next one's a given.
Sacramento at San Antonio. Your line there, if I can get it, is 7 to San Antonio.
Yeah.
Phoenix at Denver. Notice on Wednesday we've got Denver at Phoenix. Here we've got Phoenix at Denver. Your line is 3 to Phoenix.
I reserve the right to change my mind if they kick their butts in Phoenix.
But you've got Phoenix.
Yep.
I've got Denver.
Do you?
I've got the home team.
Why?
Because both of these home courts are so strong.
I've got Phoenix. We'll see.
Memphis at Portland.
Oh my goodness.
Your line to this game is 1.5
Because they didn't know what to say. To Memphis.
to Portland.
To Portland? I've got Memphis. I've got Memphis. Who do you have?
Portland.
Wow. Another difference. Okay?
Minnesota at the Lakers.
Really?
Your line is 5.5 to the Lakers.
They better. Home court advantage and all?
Yep.
Man, we got 4 differences on that day.
Yeah, it's a big night.
That's a big night.
Saturday,
Dallas.
Dallas at Philadelphia. Your line is 16 to Dallas. New Orleans.
Oh!
New Orleans
I didn't want to see that.
at Washington.
It's so hard to be a fan when you know that they're not going to win.
You don't know that they're not going to win.
But really?
You don't know that they're not going to
Okay.
win. Your line in this game is 2 to Washington.
2?
2.
It's Washington. I'm telling you.
I got Washington as well. Now that Eric Gordon.
Yeah.
Interesting one here. Charlotte
Yeah.
at Atlanta. Your line is 5 to Atlanta.
Really? 5?
5 to Atlanta.
I'm going with
I
Charlotte.
got Atlanta.
I've got Charlotte. That's a difference. Okay?
Indiana at Cleveland.
Cleveland.
Your line is 10 to Cleveland.
Cleveland.
LA Clippers at Utah.
Ooh.
Your line is 4.5 to the Clippers. And Houston at Milwaukee.
Houston.
Your line is 5 to Houston.
Yeah.
And Sunday, big Sunday.
Whoa!
San Antonio at Boston.
San Antonio.
Your line, hello, is 8 to San Antonio. Chicago at Brooklyn. Your line is 6 to Chicago.
That's what I got.
Golden State at Detroit.
Golden State.
Your line is 11.5 to Golden State. Memphis at Sacramento.
Memphis.
Your line is 4 to Memphis. Miami at New York. Your line is 3.5 to Miami. Who you got in that game?
Miami.
I got the Knicks.
Do you?
You don't go against Melo at Madison Square
That's
Garden.
wishful thinking.
You don't go against You don't go
Melo
against.
has lost at Madison Square Garden.
Not with Jose Calderon at point guard. If you watch.
Okay.
Orlando at Phoenix. Your line is 7.5 to Phoenix.
That's what I have.
Minnesota at Portland.
Please.
Your line
Portland.
is 15 to Portland.
Oh my God.
And are you going to go with your head
Oh, my head or my heart.
or your heart?
Oh, this is painful. That's like circling against New Orleans.
Toronto at the LA Lakers.
Oh, man. In Los Angeles.
Your line is 6 to Toronto.
Of course it is. I'm surprised it's only 6. I'm going with Toronto.
Lakers.
Did you really?
And I actually think they're going to do it. That's not wishful thinking. I think they're going to do it.
Okay.
Now,
Boy, that's going to be some kind of week.
local outlook, Yvonne. Local outlook for our New Orleans Pelicans. Basically what this is we're going to give updates. We're going to look at the games that they play this week. See what we have to do. See where we could be at the end of the week. Just a quick little segment here. First, the injury update on Eric Gordon.
Who's the only person that's out right now? Which is not something
The
we
New
could
Orleans-
say last year at this time.
Eric Gordon injury update. The New Orleans Pelicans announced today that Eric Gordon will be out indefinitely with a left shoulder injury.
Indefinitely.
An MRI revealed Gordon suffered a torn labrum as a result of the left shoulder subluxation injury that occurred Saturday night at Utah.
Oh my God.
Gordon will undergo further evaluation throughout this week by the team's medical staff to determine the best course of action moving forward.
So they don't even know if they're going to need to do surgery.
More details will be released as they become available.
Wonderful.
Do you know what a labrum is?
No. Are you pronouncing that correctly? Okay.
The labrum.
I should if it's in the shoulder.
The labrum is the main muscle that connects the neck and the shoulder. That right there,
Uh-huh.
that's your labrum.
Doesn't have anything to do with the ball and socket joint.
No.
Then why was he... Oh.
That's why
Oh.
when somebody comes up behind you
And
and
does
does
like
this,
this?
they're
Yeah.
pushing underneath your labrum.
Yeah. And your feet go out from under you. You feel like you're going to buckle.
I know from experience, not injury experience, but from NBA experience, usually you're out for the year with this injury.
Oh my gosh.
So,
It's torn.
it is a torn labrum.
Is it something that usually requires surgery?
Yes.
It's a muscle.
Yes.
You can't fix a muscle.
Well, you can repair it.
It depends on how bad the
You
tear
can, well,
is.
you can reconnect it.
It depends on how bad the tear is. I know.
Well,
Oh my gosh.
so with that being said, Austin Rivers is probably going to get thrusted into the starting lineup. Let's take a look at who we play this week. We got Sacramento at home on Tuesday, tomorrow. That game just became a whole lot tougher. But I think we can handle Sacramento. They don't really have an elite shooting guard. Tyreek Evans, I think, is going to take care of Rudy Gay. And I have no doubts about Anthony Davis against DeMarcus Cousins in the post. On Friday, we've got Atlanta. That's going to be a problem because of Kyle Korver on the perimeter. Not being able to get out to him, that's going to hurt. And Washington on Saturday with Bradley Beal.
I've already picked Washington. I didn't want to be a fair weather fan, but I know that's history.
All I know is that we've got to win against Sacramento.
And that's when?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow night. We don't have a New Orleans game tonight.
No. We've got to win tomorrow night against Sacramento because we've got 2 straight road games after this, both Eastern Conference with good shooting guards. It stinks, man.
If we lose against Sacramento, is it going to change our standings much?
That's another thing
However,
I want to look at.
If we lose the other 2 divisional games...
Well, they're not divisional games.
Oh.
Those are Eastern Conference. That has nothing to do with nothing. Okay? As far as the conference goes, tonight what we're looking for, a Clippers loss would be nice because we have the same record as the Clippers. Therefore, if the Clippers win, they'll be moved up to 9th. We'll go down to 10th.
Okay.
Portland loses, it's not going to affect much.
Okay.
A Phoenix loss would be nice. If Phoenix were to lose, they'd go from 7th to out of the playoffs, which means we'd be bumped up.
How far?
To 8th.
Okay.
If Houston loses, Dallas loses, that's not going to change much. Tomorrow night, Golden State losing, we're behind Golden State. Sacramento's right ahead of us. Sacramento's 8-5, we're 7-5. Gotta beat them. For standings purposes, for confidence purposes, I mean everything. So
I don't want us to fall off the grid too far. You follow me? It would be nice to stay 10th or above for the entire season till we get to the semifinals. But if you start dropping like 13th, 14th...
Well, you have to make top 8 to make the playoffs.
Right.
All.
I know.
Okay. So, honestly, we got to be praying for Charlotte to beat the Clippers, which I really don't think is going to happen. But Phoenix losing to Toronto tonight will do some real good because they're in 7th, which means their record will be 9-6. They'll be bumped down, which means we'll be in 8th.
I don't think that's a problem. Do you?
I don't think so either.
I don't either.
But we've got to beat Sacramento. We've got to beat Sacramento. I cannot stress it enough.
What are they going to do? What is the format and the procedure that have they said that they're going to do to keep up with what's going on with Eric and know what needs to be done? Right now, is it too swollen? They're waiting for the swelling to go down.
They're doing more tests.
And they're going to run another MRI and see how extensive the tear is.
They're doing more tests.
And then they'll be able to make an educated decision.
Exactly.
See, because when a muscle, a tendon, or a nerve, anything like that, because I know like from my wreck, they couldn't tell me for almost 2 weeks because it was so swollen, everything was all jumbled together. Until you can get that swelling down and get somebody on an antibiotic and cortisone to make that swelling go down so that they can get a clear picture and see what's going on.
Right.
They can't make an absolute determination as to, oh my God, if he needs surgery on that.
As of right now, they're doing more tests. So
you know, if he needs surgery on that, that's probably the rest of the season.
it's probably the rest of the season right now.
Yeah.
Because it is definitely torn. It is torn.
They see that it's torn.
It is torn.
They didn't say possibility.
No, it is a torn labrum. And usually with that, it requires surgery, and you're out for the year. Which stinks,
Oh my goodness.
but
Now don't get me wrong, and not to give any more credit to one than the other. Okay? But Eric has not been on top of his game so far this season. If anybody's gonna be injured, I'm just glad it's not Anthony Davis.
right,
I would say, oh my gosh, we've shot the whole season.
right,
Okay?
yeah.
Ryan Anderson is back most of the time, up to speed. Okay? If I had to pick, because Eric has not been doing that great in every game. But it's the position he plays and it's his intimidation factor.
I tell you what,
On the court
okay,
and the fact that we know what he's capable of.
I don't know about starting Rivers at the 2. What I would do is I would keep Drew Holiday at the point. Okay?
Of course.
I would move Tyreek Evans to the 2. It would create mismatches. Tyreek Evans is 6'6". It would create mismatches. And I would start Ryan Anderson at the 3. Because he's only 6'10". Kevin Durant starts the 3 at 6'11". Okay? And you have Anthony Davis and Omer Asik. And Ryan Anderson will provide a 3-point shooter, constant 3-point shooting threat.
How is Asik?
He's going to be back for Sacramento.
Are they sure? Because he was out, he played a game, he went out again.
Yeah, he's going to be back for Sacramento, they're saying. So, I would start Anderson at the 3, move Tyreek to the 2.
We can't only have Anthony as our big man.
Well, Asik's a big man too.
I understand that, but if he's out and Eric's out,
Well, it's tough, but we did it last year. We got to do it this year. I mean,
we did not do it last year.
we did well for having 4 starters out last year. I don't know another team that would have done what we did with 4 starters out last year.
Okay, I give you that, but just think how well we could have done if they'd have all been playing.
Well, look how well we're doing this year. I mean,
Yeah. Hey, if we need Anthony Davis to make another 40, 43 points, it's against Sacramento.
well, we need to get that win. That's a
Yes.
must-win game right there. That's a
Yes.
must-win game. All right, well, that concludes this edition of Full Court Press Basketball Debate. For Yvonne Juno, I'm Chris Guyette. Thanks for tuning in, guys.